And so I work also in India, in Thailand, in Southeast Asia. I did organic farming. And yeah, so I want to teach the people to have understanding of the principles of these basics. I will teach you today because this is, you should know, everybody should know as a human how to deal with the poo, with the urine, with the kitchen waste. Yeah, so really I want to make you understand about the principles. This is Shema, he introduced him already, and this is Gary. They are living here, taking care of the place. And we will continue. So the first thing is Bokashi. Bokashi is, in short, a fermenting compost without air. So fermenting means all the time without air. And the good thing with Bokashi compost is you can do in a small kitchen, in a ship, in a van. Yeah, because you can put a lot and you can keep it also. So the principle is that you collect the kitchen waste. So actually here we see what is not really working very well, and in this island you have a lot of citrus fruits. So if you have sometimes little bit citrus, no problem, but if you have a lot, it's a problem. And also onions. So this actually super good, but the citrus, be careful, and onions also not too much. If you have little bit all the time, no problem. But if you have a lot of this, we have to do extra compost. I will show later. So with the Bokashi, you take your kitchen waste. This is already little fermented. And if you did, yeah, you press. You can use also gloves, you can use also something in between, yeah, so you have not to become dirty. So you press little bit, yeah, you can see.
I also heard it said that if you're working in the ground or working with this, if you just scrape your fingers over some soap, so you have soap under your nails, and then you can do anything. And
yeah, so normally if I work in agriculture, I'm not using gloves because I don't like.
Yeah,
so
me too.
You press little bit, and actually that's it. So you can do like this in this super simple style. The second very important thing is you put a lid which close properly and that no air is coming inside. So also many people ask, oh, is it needed to have a bucket like this? Not really. You can also use a bucket like this, and you make like this and close like this. In case you cannot close like this, you put a big stone. Yeah, enough. If you are not really sure, yeah, and you want to, I don't feel really, so you can put also a little bit like powder. You can put charcoal.
What is this?
Charcoal.
Keine Ahnung, was das ist.
Kohle.
Ah, Carbon.
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 You can use some charcoal, like powder, yeah, really little bit. Like this.
Ashes also?
No, charcoal.
And what is
you-
that for?
The charcoal will help. Charcoal is like a sponge. It has millions and billions of holes. So it's the houses for microorganisms. So if the fermentation is starting, it can sit in the charcoal and can multiply. Very fine. If you have no charcoal, you can use, and you want, I'm not really sure, you can use also effective microorganism. And after putting each layer of the kitchen waste, you can just spray Finish.
This is vinegar or something?
This is effective microorganism. These are three kind of microorganism. These are microorganisms you will find in yeast, and there are also microorganisms you will find in curd or kimchi, in curd, Milchsäurebakterien, lactic acid bacteria, and chlorophyll synthetic bacteria. These are three, and I really like it. So
Good bacteria.
Yeah. I worked 2 years with the effective microorganism in India, so I feel really home if I can smell that. It smells a little bit like if you brew beer, or if you do sauerkraut, kimchi, something like this. And it's helping, yeah? It will make sure that the fermentation, but actually, because I like always the simple things, actually it's not really needed, yeah? So you can just take only the kitchen waste and press, and just make sure that always the lid is closed.
So you take your kitchen waste always, you put it in this bucket and
Press.
You press it in this bucket
Yeah, and close.
and close.
Yeah.
And you
That's it.
can every day add something.
Yes. You can also add every second day.
Yeah, okay. You can add and add and add.
Yeah,
and
add
until
up to it's full. And then you keep it for 6 weeks. If it's full, you keep it for 6 weeks, and the fermentation is then done.
Oh, yeah.
So after this, you can put to your compost. You can put also directly to your bed where the plants are, but you mix with the soil.
And this, from this bucket, how old is this?
I don't know, Johannes?
It's our kitchen compost is maybe a week old or so.
Nothing more? You
No,
sure?
no, no.
The fermentation is very
Did
fast.
you put some of this of this?
No, no, we just have it in the samuro.
You just put it.
After 1 week it's full and we empty it into the compost.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I know that.
if you do it a little bit more properly, it's really fast. The fermentation is really fast. This is also why it's a good thing to do, because it's more fast than if you do a normal compost with air. So it's anaerobic with no air, and it's fermenting. This is the
because
principle.
there is also people who say these anaerobic microorganisms are not so good for the earth. So because the microorganisms for the plants, they need a lot of oxygen.
Ha! So I think
So this is different way of.
the thing is principle, because I really want to teach you the principles. The principle is in life not do only own thing and a lot. Mix. So you can have bokashi. If you use for your plants, you mix with the soil, with the bokashi, no problem. Just don't put only bokashi on one plant and a mountain. This is just too much. Everything which is only this is too much. Yeah?
Can you tell us the percentage to mix with the soil? Bokashi and soil, half or just a
So
little bit, or-
in case the fermentation is good, and you can really use your nose, yeah. So you can smell. Here later you can smell here. This is the smell is not so good, and then you can smell here. This is really a sour, little bit sour smell, and then you know the fermentation is good, and then.
And the dilution that you do for the EM, no, how do you dilute it?
So
How
this
much?
this is it's written here. I don't have the
Okay.
I don't have the recipe in, because sometimes they sell different bottles. Maybe Johannes, if you find, you can say. And
Like
you
1 to
can keep
1,000.
this normally if you
20,000.
Yeah.
1 to 1,000. 10 milliliter.
Yeah, so
oil.
these are microorganisms. So this is why I say it's really, you just need to spray a little bit like this. Yeah? And if you mix with water normally and keep it cool 3-4 months, it stays. So also you can use your nose again, yeah? If you're not sure whether this is active, you just spray and yeah, you can smell, please.
Okay.
You can spray
yeah.
as well. Yeah, smells like apple cider vinegar something.
Somebody want to smell?
Do you think
Smells natural.
Yes, kombucha also. There are also some bacteria. So these are 3 bacteria mixed.
I have a question. I've seen on some videos on YouTube where people take 2 lids. So they take the one lid and they cut it so that they can press that lid on top
Yeah.
of the...
So in case you do not want the hand like this,
Yeah.
you can have a little smaller lid like this, and you just put the smaller lid inside and then take the lid to press,
Yeah.
so your hand is clean all the time.
And is that the only reason? Is it also for having less air?
Yeah, this is what I wanted to know.
Yeah, so it's less air, but
Yeah.
it's not super needed.
Okay.
You can do. You can also, if you want, you can put a hole here and a small tap, and then the liquid is going out, and you can use the liquid directly to give as a fertilizer to the plant. But if you do not put really water or something, it's also okay like that.
Okay, because that's good to know. Because I've used like a Bokashi, like a
Yeah.
store-bought one before at a friend's house.
Yes.
And then the reason I didn't do Bokashi at home is because I thought I needed all these things. I needed 2
No.
buckets with holes and
No.
a tap and...
This is why I do the workshop like this. I want to teach the simple thing and the principle. The principle with Bokashi is no air, press little bit, finish. So you can use each thing. Yeah.
So,
time you leave it in the bucket?
6 weeks.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
so
When
basically...
the bucket is full,
You keep it for 6 weeks.
So any
It's
camping,
average.
so any camping ground that makes fires where they've got charcoal
Yeah, they can
and
use.
buckets, they can
Yes.
already do this.
Yes.
Okay, nothing special.
No.
Cool.
It's just make sure that you have not super much of the citrus fruit and not super much of the onion.
Okay, and is there anything that you recommend to then do with the onions and
Yes,
the citrus?
later I
Okay,
will tell.
that'll
and
come.
nuts peel and
Everything fine. So there's just understand, yeah. Not really. Maybe 1 bucket only cooked food, rest of cooked food. Just mix different things. Mix. Then, yeah, you can play with this, of course.
Yeah.
But this is why I want to show you the principle. Yeah.
Has dicho de los cítricos y la cebolla, and what about aguacate?
Avocado.
Yeah.
Also not too much?
Also, avocado, no problem, but banana peel, not too much banana peel.
Aguacate, no problem.
also if it's ecological banana peel, it's not. It's
Just
not
not too much.
Ah,
The banana and the lemon and the onion, it's difficult to make them really rotting very well. So this has a lot of etheric oil, and the onion is really strong, and banana peels also. Yeah, just
But
if it's little bit, no problem, but if it's little much,
What I heard is if you do have banana, if you just use scissors and cut it
Yes,
very,
it's better.
basically help nature.
yeah, the smaller the pieces are, the better it is. But you have not to cut necessarily.
Yeah.
You can just put.
Unless you're bored and have a lot of time.
But
Waste, it's just more fast because the microorganisms have more surface to work. Yeah,
So if you cut it.
again. It remembers me of the time I worked 2 years in India. Okay, so I think we will go to the next step.
Ina,